they have us doing, we don't always work with that first page, but they give us a really good graphic organizer and it gives us some vocab for us to talk about. What is the name of the point that's smack dab in the center of this graph? The origin. Nicely done. The origin. This blank way at the bottom points to this axis. Which axis is this? The y-axis. And the other axis is labeled the x-axis. If you don't have your book, just take some notes on another sheet of paper just so you remember. Everybody take a minute to write down the ordered pair of that point they have, the x comma y. Don't say it out loud, but write down that ordered pair you see there. What's your ordered pair? -4, 3. Nicely done. Just remember x comma y, x comma y. Quadrants you've learned previously, except for we got to remember we need to write them using Roman numerals, and you should remember those from my brother Sam. Quadrant 1 is the upper right hand. It looks like an I. Now we work our way to the left. Quadrant 2 is here. Quadrant 3 is here. And to write a 4, you put a 1 in front of a V, or an I in front of a V. So quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Who can identify the x-coordinate in the point -5, -7? Say again, Nolan. -5. Nicely done. As you can see, the important part of this is keeping track of your x's and your y's. All right, flip the page. So today's title is relations. A relation is any set of ordered pairs, which they have written down. And then relations can be represented as a table and a graph. So they took these ordered pairs and they put it into a table, x and y. So -2, 3, 1, 2, 0, -1, and 3, 1. They took those same points and put them on a graph. -2, 3, 1, 2, 0, -1, and 3, 1. So technically, all three of those are different representations of the same relation. Here is today's important vocab. We learned 2 words today. Domain and range. Domain of the domain of the relation is the set of all the x-coordinates. The domain is all of your x-coordinates. So in the ordered pair, they listed all of the x-coordinates. The range are all of the y-coordinates. So they took all the y's and they wrote them in a list. You have to remember, domain is x, range is y. On Friday, you can't say, Miss Hoff, which one's x and which one's y? Domain is x, range is y. There's 2 rules when you make the list of domain and range. Rule number 1, you must use braces. They're those squiggly lines, and they don't have to look perfect. Just don't make them look like a parenthesis. Just make them squiggle. They can be ugly as all get out. The nice thing about it, Alex just has a button you click, and they put them in there for you. The second rule is never list a number more than once in a list. Never list a number more than once in a list. We only have to write that number down 1 time. This is almost so easy today, our brain wants to overthink it. Okay? Domain is x, range is y. So in example number 1, they give us this list of ordered pairs right here. And they tell you to make a table and a graph, and I'm not worried about that today. But then they ask us to list the domain and range. If I go through and I circle the first number in every ordered pair, did I just circle the x-coordinates or the y-coordinates? The x-coordinates. Does the x go to domain or to range? Domain. Look at the bottom of your page. The domain is -4, -3, 0, and 2. The numbers you just circled are these numbers, yes? Now, they put them in order least to greatest, which is fine. Miss Hoff isn't requiring that. It's always kind of nice, but it's not required. So here's my question. How come the domain has 4 numbers, but the range only has 3? Because there's 2 6s. This 6 is a y coordinate. This 6 is a y coordinate. Number 1 rule, never list a number more than once. So technically you write down 6, -8, 6, -4, but you should never write a number more than once, so they only wrote the 6 down one time. Now, can -4 belong to both domain and range? Absolutely. But in just the range or in just the domain, never list a number more than once. Okay, top of the next page on the right. We are not going to make a table. We are not going to make a graph. Here are your ordered pairs. All I want you to do is list the domain and list the range. Remembering, domain are all your x coordinates. Range are all your y coordinates. Don't list a number more than once. Nolan, what's the first number you wrote down for your domain? -5. McKinley, what'd you write next? 3. Rebecca, what'd you write next? 6. And Kennedy, 1. Nicely done. Could you have them in a different order? Absolutely, but you have to have those 4 numbers. Cole, what'd you write for range? 2. Grady? -1. Will? 2. You don't want to write 2 again? Okay. You want to put 7? Davion. Shouldn't I have 4 numbers there, though? The other one had 4 numbers. No. Very good. Nicely done, Will and Davion. Okay, 2 is listed twice here, so we don't need to list it twice here. It's okay if they don't have the same number of numbers in that set. That seems like a weird statement. Okay. Flip your page to guided practice. We're going to do another one just like this. Same thing, number 1 on guided practice. Don't do the table. Don't do the graph. Just list the domain and range. Brainer. What's the first thing you wrote down in your domain? -4. Will. 2. Sage. -3. Austin. 0. Ray, first number in your range. 3. Evan. 1. Gabby. -2. Aspen. That's it? I only need 3 of them? Very good. Okay, now Austin did a good recovery here. Sage threw him for a curveball, didn't she? Most of you probably have 0, -3. Is that wrong? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, to be perfectly honest with you, most of your homework looks just like this. Most of your homework is just ordered pairs. You got to list the range, you got to list the domain. Now, I want to look at problem number 1. This says the graph of the relation T is shown below. So this time, they give us a graph with 4 points. And they still want us to list the domain and range. How in the world am I ever going to list the domain and range if they give us a graph? Zach? Very good. So I'm going to put this back up here. The very first thing you want to do today on these types of problems is to write down your ordered pairs. All of you right now, write down the 4 ordered pairs off this graph. Write down your 4 ordered pairs. Who's willing to give me one? Nolan? -1, 3. Excellent. Will? 3, 0. Nicely done. That usually tricks people. Very good. Rebecca? 2, 2. And who's got the last one? Zach? 1, -4. Nicely done. Now take 30 more seconds. List your domain and range on your paper. So I just want you to see exactly how you input this. So if you click in domain, get your cursor in there, and then you click this button right here that says braces, it'll put the squiggles. Okay, Aiden, what's the first number in my domain? -1. Now, you can hit this button for comma, or you can just type a comma on your keyboard. Brady, what's your next one? 1. Spencer? 2. And Jack? Last number in your domain. 3. Then I go click on range. I put my braces. Anybody, what's a number for my range? 3, 2, 0, -4. I click check. It says yes. Couple of things, guys. It tells you which one is wrong. If you get it wrong, it'll say like your domain's wrong, your range is wrong. Now, do you have a lot of work to show today? No, there's hardly anything. On these, you're going to have to write down ordered pairs. So someplace in your book, you can even use the bottom of 280 right there. Just have some place to write them down. You are not turning in any work to me. Okay? Now, eyes here for 1 second. I have you locked to Alex until you get 100%. Then I will unlock your Alex. I will never give you more than 3 taps because you really don't need more than 3 taps. Okay? Please be on task. If you finish early, work on other homework, work in your Alex pie chart, read a book. Don't Google things just to Google things, and don't visit with your neighbor. Go to it.